All right, so let's talk about cranial nerves, shall we? Here's the board that I put up here. A lot of people use, hey Bill, what's up? This is for you, buddy. A lot of people use, what's that stuff where they remember the first letter and blah, blah, blah. I don't like it. It doesn't ever work for me. So what I did up here is I put down all the nerves. I put down in green whether they're sensory, motor, or both. All right, and we'll go through it how I like to go through it, and which helped me kind of remember. Starting with the first one is olfactory. So when I do this, Bill, I actually use my face to do it, and I start in the center. This is the starting point, olfactory. And I'll talk about motor sensory later on because that usually just kind of ties in once you figure out what you're doing. So I start in the center, and then I use my fingers and I work out to my eyes. So starting number one, number two. And we're starting with smell, then we're doing vision, which is your optic. And then from optic, we're going to ocular motor. It says it right in there, motor, so ocular, right? We got that for eyes, motor. So this is going to mean your eyelid function and actual eyeball movement. So that's going to be your pupils constricting and dilating, okay? So we're going from smelling, photoreceptor, which is the vision. We're going to eyelid function and eyeball function, okay? Then we're doing trochlear, which is your eye downward, inward movement. That's the convergence test when you do this one. So once again, we start in the middle, go to eyeball, eyeball, eyeball. Sensory, sensory, motor movement of the actual eyeball, and then convergence, okay? Going down to trigeminal. A way for me to remember geminal is Gemini from astrology is like the two pieces, two people or whatever. And I got tri, so it's 3 of 2. So this one you're going eyes are 2, 2 nostrils, 2 maxilla, right down the center. There's 1, 2, 3. That's your tri, and they're all doubled up. That's your Gemini, trigeminal. So that's your eyes, nose, and mouth. Now the one that they're going to talk about a lot of this is on test questions is can they smile, clench their teeth, okay? And that's your trigeminal nerve. Now we're going back up to abducens. Abducens is abduction, right? Adduction and abduction. Oh, sorry, adduction, abduction. So this is going to be lateral eye movement of the eyes. So when you think about abduction as a muscle movement, once again it's for your eyes, can they move laterally? Moving over here, I'm going fast, Bill, but trust me, those all come together in the end. Facial, number 7. You think your whole face, right? Just your facial, it's pretty easy. This one you're going to think face, glands, I'm talking about in your mouth, and taste. This question that you're going to get is going to be Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy is going to be something wrong with the facial nerve. It's a big one. We'll come back to it. Vestibular cochlear. This one should be easy to remember. Everybody knows this one, loves it. Vestibular cochlear, it's ears. What are the ears responsible for? Balance and hearing. Now we're going to move down to glossopharyngeal. This is your ears, nose, and throat. Ears, nose, and throat. And if we look at it, glossal is your tongue. Pharyngeal is your pharynx, right? So just think about where the name is saying and where the location would be. Vagus, I didn't put a lot up here on vagus. Vagus is a big nerve that we know about. But for this, what we need to know is it's ears, nose, and throat. So it's starting up here, and it goes all the way down to the abdomen, right? So vagus is your big sucker, and we know that's responsible for all kinds of things. That's why it's going to be motor and sensory. Then we come back up to accessory. Now, the way for me to remember accessory is always like not the major muscle groups, but the ones that help, right? So in this one, we're talking about muscles in the neck and traps that help you move your head around. Those are your accessory muscles, okay? And then we're back up to hypoglossal. So once again, glossal is tongue. So when we put this into our face, we're starting once again in the middle, right? Then to the eyeball, eyeball, eyeball. And then we move out right here to the trigeminal. So we're still at eyeball, nose, and mouth. So we're, you know what I mean? We're here, 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 here. Eyeballs, nose, mouth. We're moving down. And then we go back up to the eyes again, abducent. From here, we're going into the face, number 7. Okay, facial. From facial, then we go to vestibulocochlear. So we just draw it back to our ears. Okay, now we're stuck on our ears. What's close to the ears is the back of the tongue and the pharynx. So we just drop it down from ears to there. Then we go to vagus. Vagus, we know, is all the way down to the abdomen. Okay, and then we're going to make our way back up to accessories and end sticking our tongue out with the hypoglossal. That's this one. That's hypoglossal. Okay, so once again, starting here, going to eyes, and we got to count it. There's 3 of them in the eyes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 3, And then we're going trigeminal. So on the fourth one, which is on the end of our count of 3, is 1, 2, 3, trigeminal. Back up the eyes for the trochlear. The abducens, which is now lateral movement. And from lateral movement, we're going to move out into our face, okay? Going to vestibulocochlear, which is our ears, down to the glossopharyngeal, down to the vagus, back up, and then out to the tongue. Now, when we think about it like what's sensory, what's motor, right? Well, olfactory, I actually like to take right out of the equation because that's the simplest one. We know it starts in the middle, and it's smell, so whatever. It's sensory. Optic is your next one. And you can see O, that might also help. Optic is also sensory. Get to ocular motor. Motor's in the name. It's motor. So we're going sensory, sensory, motor. Trochlear, we're talking about convergence, right? The eyeball moving together. That's motor. It's making the eyes move. Trigeminal, that was the tri one, right? That's clenching teeth. So clenching teeth is motor. But when we think about things on the face, if I touch your face, you feel it, right? If I touch your nose, you feel it. So this is motor and sensory. Abducens, we're talking about muscles abducting. Once again, motor, right? So if you can remember what it is, it tends to tell you whether it's motor or sensory. Facial, that's the big one. That's Bell's palsy. That's going to be, I touch the face, I can feel it. But I also can move my mouth and move my face, make facial expression. So that's going to be motor and sensory. Vestibular cochlear, that's mostly sensory. We're talking about ears, right? Just think about what the ears do. Glossopharyngeal, ears, nose, and throat. Well, there's a lot that goes on there, right? With ears, nose, and throat. We have movement and we have sensory. So it goes motor and sensory. Vagus, shouldn't even say it because you know it, right? Accessory, mostly muscles. We're using our muscles, right? Hypoglossal is our motor as well. We're sticking our tongue out. That's the last one. Big ones to remember that are kind of trickier that we mess up. Trigeminal, number 5. Okay, trigeminal, that's clenched teeth, make a smile. Number 7 is going to be a big one. And I like to remember ones that are kind of in the middle and work my way back or out to try and remember where everything is, because it does get confusing, I'm not going to lie. So I like to remember my first 3. I like to remember number 7. And then I remember hypoglossal, and I can move backwards from hypoglossal. I can stick my tongue out, and then remember I go back to my accessories. I'm going back to the vagus, and vagus goes all the way back up. Glossopharyngeal right in the backside here, back up to our ears, and you can move back forward. And that's kind of the way I remember this stuff. Hopefully that helps you a little bit, Bill. Good luck, buddy.